Well, hello folks, can you hear me? Let's friggin' hope so, because I'm not 100% sure if indeed you can. Hey, here I am. It's been a while since I've done a live stream actually. Yeah, it's quite a freaking long time, so I'm just trying to figure out exactly how to do it. So I'm hoping that the audio is going out no problemo. So I'll just have a quick check on the chat, and we shall see if indeed it is going out. I think I've just opened the wrong screen there. Perhaps I'll figure it out shortly. Teething problems. Always the same, isn't it? So where did I put that chat? Right then, I think it is not there. Oh god, I'm getting all clicky with my fingers now. Is it here? There we go. So let me mute that and come back to the live stream. Well, that was not as easy as I hoped. So fingers crossed we don't have any more teething problems and this live stream is up. I still yet can't see it. I'm hoping that the laptop can keep up. It has been a while, like I say, and I had to dig out webcams and all sorts to try and make this actually work. So if there's a little bit of lag, then you're going to have to bear with me, I think. Yes. Where is that chat? It seems to have disappeared completely, which is worrying me. So I'm still searching. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like the CPU is struggling a little bit to keep. Oh, everybody says yeah, they can hear me. So let's have a quick look then. Who have we got in the room? Let's have a look. We've got loads of people in. I'm not going to be able to keep up with this lot. It's flying down the list. So we've got Ronald Last. He's gone out to feed his fish. I wonder if he's back. Greens Pond CFC says, will there be any scantily clad ladies on the bar top? Well, they'll have to be short in stature, I would have thought. Let's have a look. Aidan Scaping's here. Willis Brewery. Wish I had a pint of proof of concept. Well, that's going to happen later on, as you will see, no doubt. Froggy's here. Chris's Porch Brewing. Yes, we know he's got proof of concept. Don't rub it in, bud. David Pedersen from Minnesota in the States. The Hop Shed, is that Robbie? I think so. How you doing, mate? Willis Brewery's just deep cleaned his home brewery so he can make some more home brew. He's not made any since November last year by the looks of it. We've got Basingstoke Dave in. We've got Colin Barlow in. How you doing, Colin? We've got the True Celt. Hello from Billings, Minnesota. Oh, I just said that. Green Spoon, they're going to have to be small, ladies. Yes, you're right. So yeah, this chat is absolutely flying up. Hello, Harry. It's high noon here, so there's somebody out there. Well, talking of the weather, we're just moving into the late evening now, and it's been pretty warm today, but it is starting to kind of cool down a little bit, you know, hence the jacket. So hopefully it doesn't get too cold. We have to move somewhere else. There are still people out and about in their gardens enjoying what's left of the sunshine, so you're probably going to hear a little bit of that in the background. It's literally just behind this wall here, so it's going to be on the audio, I would imagine. So let's have a look. Is this chat showing up on the cast properly yet? Let's just have a quick look. No, it's not. So let me just see if I can figure this out, because it's obviously changed position since we started live streaming. Maybe it was here. This is where I need to be for it. Let's see if it pops back up in a second or two. There we go. That looks like it's going to work. So if I just kill that window there, hopefully the computer will be able to catch its breath in a moment, because it is struggling. It's only a laptop. I've got it outside. This is the porch, if you like. Bit of a lean-to on the side of the house. Basically somewhere for us to stick like a fridge. We've got a tumble dryer out here, and of course the home bar has been banished outside the house, so this is where it lives at the moment. There we go. It looks like we've got that chat up and running now, which is much better. Well, you spoke too soon. It's gone again. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm a little bit behind on this chat section here, so if I just catch up, wonder if that button does it. Yeah, the laptop is struggling a bit, folks, but little technical difficulties. We'll iron them out sooner rather than later, I would have thought. Toggle timescales. Should do some like, I thought you could put the chat on slow or something like that, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm just going to have to fill the time by waffling until the computer catches up. So what I can do is turn around to the bar, hopefully if OBS will let me, and you will notice over here we have yes, check that bad boy out. We have a bar cam. So on the bar, I've not written it out yet. I did have some chalk somewhere. I think it's over here. This is it. So I'm hoping this is live. Yes, it is. So in this one, we've got some proof of concept. This centre one, we've got a little bit of the nitro porter left. Nitro porter. And in here, because you all know I love my cider, we've got some Scrumpy Wasp. Scrappy wasp. So, what we're going for first, folks, what do you think? I reckon it's going to be a proof of concept, seeing as everybody's been talking about it. But I don't think there's much left in the keg. So let's hope we get at least a pint out of her. Wish me luck. Yeah, it's the next door neighbour's birthday today. Partying on her own a little bit. So there might be a bit of, racket. Which is fine. Totally fine. Here we go. Not much of a head, folks. There we are. Check that out. A lovely proof of concept down the hatch, folks. I wonder, indeed, what you guys out there are drinking tonight on Thursday, the 9th of April, in lockdown globally. It's an absolutely crazy situation. So let's just have a look what we got over here. There's some people on the super chat stuff, I think, there. I really don't know how that works, so you'll have to excuse me for not knowing how to figure it out right now. How about a video on how to brew beer at home with nothing? Says Basingstoke Dave. Well, oh, that's nice. Well, if that's the situation that you're in, Dave, I really feel for you, my mate. Because, yeah, that is quite an unfortunate circumstance to be in, I think. We've got, obviously, access to the beer at the pub that we've got, and some beer in the brewery. And I've just been bringing it home, kind of as and when required. We pinched a little bit of cider out of a keg or two, and that's how I've been able to bring some back home. I bought before this COVID-19 craziness, a 10-litre mini keg from Brew Keg Tap. Now, Martin Bailey put me onto it. He's got the Boathouse Brewery. You might have seen some of his videos on YouTube. Sheffield lad. Really quite funny. Swears a lot. Nothing like me. And he pointed me in the direction of this Brew Keg Tap online store. And they were doing these 10-litre mini kegs. Basically, they're like the kegs that we sent around the country when we did the Flask Gordon thing that we did a couple of years back. I think it's still going on, actually, that. But I'd show you it if it wasn't in the cooler, so I can't actually get it out to show you it. But it's in there, and it is full of it's not full of cider, it's full of an IPA that Stuart suggested I take home, because we disconnected all the kegs at the pub and had to drain down all of the lines and then blow them off through with air, so there was no little bugs growing in the lines or anything like that, And some of the kegs were almost empty, which was unfortunate. But yeah, as they were almost empty, I thought, well, you know what I'll do? I'll just siphon off whatever's in there and put it into this mini keg and bring it home. So yeah, I can't show you what it is. But I digress, and I'm losing my thread as well reading this chat shooting up. I bought one of these from Brew Keg Tap, I think it is, BKT, online. I think I got the last one, and it comes with like the blow ties that Kegland have been selling. And the way you set it up, it comes with like a little valve as well, so you can connect it up to from one keg to another with 2 quick disconnects. And when you put some CO2 on it, you can do an under pressure transfer out of your keg that you've got the beer in, or the cider, whatever you want, into this one. And it's got an automatic shut-off valve on it, so you don't even have to sit there and wait for it to fill up. You can go and do another job, and it'll turn itself off when it's done, and you can just walk away and then come back afterwards, disconnect it, clean your lines out. You've got a keg full of beer to take home, which works really well for me. But this proof of concept is one that I've had at home for a while now, and I must say it's been in the keg a few months. I've not really been drinking that much off of here well, I was going to say recently. Past couple of weeks, yes I have, but prior to that I wasn't drinking that much. So it's been in there a while, and it is starting to really come into its own now. Let's go down the chat and see if we can catch up a little bit. The computer seems to have caught its breath a touch now. So we've got Short Circuited Brewers on here. We've got Rob Leggett, or Legate. Is it Leggett? I'm always unsure. How you doing, mate? Yeah, some coconut IPA for sure. Amanda wants to know where Reggie and Chance are. Well, Reggie's been trying to jump over the neighbour's fence, so he's locked in while I'm doing this, because we've got the porch door open here and what have you. And he's still a little bit of a pest. Oh, we've got new to homebrew Tom's in. Yeah, suffering from hay fever. That's the tree pollen, mate, no doubt. Spider's here. How you doing, mate? Beer to me, Paul Hipwell. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm quite a lot behind on this chat. Lee the Brewer, John Price, Elif from Sweden. How you doing, man? Yeah, there's loads. Let's have a look. Geordie141. All right there, big man, all the way from sunny, not so sunny Scotland. Well, welcome to sunny Retford, mate. Let's have a look. Is there any questions? I'm sure I saw a few questions here. How about, yeah. So yeah, looks like Basingstoke Dave is stuck at home with no beer and no brewing ingredients. Yeah. Barcam is behind me, Ian McMurray, and hopefully we'll be using that more than once this evening. That's the plan. I'd like to see, when I finally get caught up in the chat room, what everybody else is drinking out there. In the UK it's coming up to 6:20, so I think it's more than acceptable to have a beer now. In fact, the past few days I have been kind of trying to talk myself out of having a beer before dinner time, and quite frankly that's really quite difficult to do. So I keep seeing this super chat stuff pop up on the top. If that's people chucking a few quid in the hat to help out, thank you very much. I don't know how it works yet. We'll have a look on the other side. But I don't know if I have to click or respond to the messages or whatever. I'm not sure. So if I've missed anything, I apologise. But if you've thrown a coin in the hat, folks, to keep the wolf away from the door, it's much appreciated if you're in a position to do that. Thank you very much. Rob's drinking a POC, proof of concept for those of you who don't know. That's what we've got on behind us. Yeah, Froggy's right. I think it's calmed down a little bit in that respect. Slap the child, as he says. Mary Jane from Ilkley Brewery, Paul Hipwell's drinking. Yakidar, Dylan Thomas. Time for the mower. Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. Oh, we've got Franco in, and Lauren. How you doing? I hope you're enjoying your vacant. Henry's on a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, which is one of my favourite beers. In fact, the Pale Ale that we sell in the pub, what's it called now? Oh, Froggy will have to tell me, I've forgotten what it's bloody called. Jaded Pioneer. That was actually, that started life out as a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale clone, believe it or not, but it's definitely evolved since then and moved away considerably from those early days, years and years ago. Homebrew Griffo's here, Yakidar. How you doing, mate? Standard Saison. Shakedown Tiny Rebel from Stephen Law. That sounds really interesting, actually. Lenny Fizz has got a Maybach. Let's have a look. A donation to you, Harry, short-circuited brewers. Well, thank you very much, sir, if indeed you have. It's definitely helping at the minute, because as Robble knows in the chat room now, his wonderful wife is our accountant, and she knows that at the minute all these small businesses out there are having to pay their staff, and we've had nothing yet to compensate us for that. And of course we can't sell any beer to get any money in, so we haven't taken a wage out. We still run it through the payroll and what have you, but we haven't taken a wage out, me, Gemma and Stuart. So yeah, every penny helps at the minute, guys. Thank you. But I'm not like not walking around with the cap in hand. Everybody's in the same boat, I'm sure, so you know what I mean. Inmate brew coming up for Basingstoke Dave. Yeah, well, if you've got sugar and any type of yeast in the house, mate, you know, needs must and all that. Oh yes, we're settling in now. Bit of motion lotion, as Craig Tube used to say, if you remember those videos back in the day. Right, what we got here then? Steve Mulson, how you doing, Steve? I've still not figured out which boot goes on which foot. What are your plans for the future after this virus has passed? You've had 2 pubs and 2 breweries and now a restaurant. Yeah, well, I've still got 1 pub and 1 brewery, and the restaurant is in the brewery. I don't plan on losing those buggers or letting them go anywhere, but I think when we go back to work, I'd like to, obviously after getting the businesses back on their feet, which is a given, I'd like to look into canning. There was a question posted on the page earlier on, which we may have time to go back and have a look at. I know I said get your questions in early, but technical difficulties and all that prevented me from getting onto those straight away. So if we can read those questions later, we will. But yeah, what I'd like to do is get into canning and then set up the website so we can do mail order and hopefully ship around the country with our beers. The reason I'm not doing it at the moment is A, the website's not up and running, and we've got a friend and a patron of the pub at the minute looking at the Harrison's Brewery website, but we're obviously only communicating via kind of messenger, so it's tricky at the minute to convey what you've got in mind to somebody else without being able to sit in a room and talk to them. But yeah, the website's not up and running yet, and we obviously don't have any canning equipment, so hopefully that's something that we can remedy maybe later on in 2020. Might have to wait till 2021 now, but that is the next big push out. If we can start canning our beers, that will enable me to do more new beer styles, more new recipes, and instead of having to have all of that beer go through the brew shed retail, which is how we sell all of our beer at the minute, we don't wholesale anything unless it's to somebody that I know particularly well and they're local, because the market is awful for wholesale cask and keg at the minute. Even though keg prices are slightly inflated, wholesale's terrible. So that would allow me then to make some more batches of beer, different styles, get really experimental, and we can put some of it through the pub, but then we can also take some of that beer and we can put it into can, and that means everybody is going to be able to get their hands on it. And if indeed you've got somebody, let's say for instance in the States or Australia, who wants some of this beer, who wants to try some HB beer, it's not going to cost the earth to send some over. So last year we had somebody get in touch with me from the States who wanted to try some beers around Christmas time, and it cost like 30-40 quid to send 3 bottles of beer over to the States, which they were happy to pay, but obviously it's not ideal. And imagine what would happen if they arrived smashed. And that's the trouble with glass, you see, you have to pack it that well. If it's going via air freight as well, the chances of it not exploding with the change in pressure are pretty slim, whereas cans seem to be a little bit more forgiving. They're infinitely recyclable. They're light proof, and light is one of the main enemies of beer. And they're lightweight, so hopefully we can get into canning. That is the plan. Anyway, wet the whistle a little bit, folks. Cheers. Who we got here? Mr. Solberg. A basic lager glass in the glass. Hey, whatever floats your boat, my friend. You know, I'm not an alien to drinking a pint of Carling now and then, if there's nothing else on offer. No bison. I have an oatmeal stout and a rye pale on tap, and an Irish red is waiting in the bucket. You've got that right, mate. Gary Hughes, how you doing, mate? Freak Ale Works Phantom Pale Ale from Aldi's, 99p for a 330 can. Pretty damn good. It sounds alright to me. John Archer is out of beer and he's on call tonight. Well, you got to do what you got to do, man. So he's having a Budweiser. Yeah, don't worry, you're not going to blow over on one of those, are you, pal? More rattle than a bag of marbles. That's Tom. Is that a new brew? Oh my god, well the chat just jumped massively then, so I hope I've not missed too much. I'm going to try and catch up, folks. Here we go. Let's have a quick look round. Victor Castle, hello mate. I've been watching since day one of your build. You're a top bloke, love your vids. Hope to make it up to your bar soon. If you can get here, mate, and let me know before you do, I'm sure we can get together and have a pint. Biggles Brewery's on a black IPA. Well, he's brewing a black IPA tomorrow. Yeah, so apart from the little video that you saw at the start of the stream, if you were here in time to catch it, that's the only brewing I've been doing since the lockdown, or indeed since the 23rd of March. I think it was the week before then, but it was the 23rd of March that they closed us down. Amanda's in. Hello, Amanda. She's drinking a proof. We are all looking forward to getting in the brew shed once again. It's going to happen. In fact, I've been down pretty much every day just to keep an eye on the place, make sure that there's nothing setting on fire, because we've got fridges running and freezers running and stuff like that. And of course the beer needs looking at on a daily basis. And yeah, I'm looking in the, going into the beer garden, and I'm thinking, I could be down here. Yeah, I've got a wall to build. We've got the flower beds to maintain, all these kind of things that I could be doing, but of course I can't really rock up to B&Q and get any bedding plants at the minute, can I? So everything's just sat in stasis. Thank God I've got alcohol to drink to keep me busy instead. Cheers. Let's keep going then. Let's have a look. Hey, Urban Chicken Ale is in the house. I wouldn't mind a few of your beers, mate, but again, unfortunately, there's no chance of that happening this week, is there? Or for a while yet. Glad to see you back on the live streams, mate. Eclipse 9101. Yeah, I think it was Adam. I'm pretty sure I remember back from the Vaughan live days as well. That was fantastic fun that we used to do back then. Dave and I in the brew shed, when the brew shed was behind this wall here. Indeed, that's where it all began. Back in 2012 onwards. 8 years ago now. It's quite a long time. Darren, how you doing, fella? Froggy saying hi to Daz. Darren is Urban Chicken Ale, by the way, if anybody doesn't know. He brews fantastic beer. We've never met in person, but I've drank more of his beer than I ever thought I would, because it's lovely stuff. We've got some more people in from Sweden. You'll have to accept my apologies. I cannot pronounce many of these Swedish names. Let's have a look. Brian, how's it going? From Gary Hughes. Hughes Brews, almost completely out of homebrew, waiting for a local brewery to sell me or to deliver me a 72 pint cask. Yeah, I noticed there's quite a lot of microbreweries out there letting their cask stock go to retail clients, if you like, which is a pretty good idea. The only thing that worries me for companies doing things like that is if these guys are on the payroll, there's a chance that they're not going to be entitled to furlough pay if they're still working. If you're making it work though and you're earning money, then fair enough. Martin Bailey's in. Here's the man I was telling you about, who pointed me in the right direction of Brew Keg Tap and the 10 litre mini keg, which is fantastic. I highly recommend you go to his channel and subscribe. They are very, very entertaining videos, particularly in times of crisis. He says all the things that you're thinking. Paul Allison's here. How you doing? How's tours? Let's have a look. I can swap a tin of tomatoes for a beer. Yeah. One moment, please. We're kind of not short on tomatoes. Obviously, opening the restaurant and what have you. We've got plenty of things like this to get through. Emergency rations, if you like. We didn't have to go out panic buying. You see, we just the weekend before the closure bought all the food for the restaurants, Sunday lunches, everything like that. I've given lots of it away. We had like trays of mushrooms and beans and tomatoes and stuff, giving it all away because we would not have got through it. But this kind of stuff is going to last for a long time. The only drawback is you can't open these tins with a domestic can opener. You have to use a commercial one, which is no problem because I've got one, but I didn't have it out at home the first night I wanted to open that tin, which was a bit of a pain in the arse. So let's keep going then. What's everyone brewing over the weekend? Well, nothing for me, I'm afraid. Short circuit of brewers, it goes in your account to be paid on your monthly payment. Right. Okay, so that is the super chat. That's brilliant. So thank you very much, folks. And thanks for that info, Bri. Another chap in from Norway. The home of Tony Yates, if you know who he is. Cheers, Harry. Enjoy your videos. Things will work out for you. I'm sure they will, mate. We've got a fantastic team behind us. You know, if anything, that's kind of what's getting all of us through this. We know that we've all got each other's backs. And when we come out of it, we're going to be like greyhounds in the traps, mate. We're all just waiting for that bell to ring and that hare to shoot past. And yeah, there's going to be opportunities when we come out of the other side of this fiasco. Franco's always on the vacant, says Froggy. Yes, he is. He does like a proof of concept now and then, though, I believe. Jim Patterson's drinking a nice homemade IPA. As am I, sir. Well, it wasn't really homemade, was it? But don't tell the tax man. I'm sure he wouldn't begrudge me 20 litres now and then. Nice gesture, Chris. Right, I get that. That's the Froggy, I imagine. New England IPA. Somebody's on a Brett Saison being brewed now. Hey Joyce, well that sounds very interesting indeed. Thanks a lot, Henry. A few more coins in the tin there, sir. B's on a Berliner Weiss, which I can't say it's my go-to beer, but they are very nice, particularly when the sun's out. Homebrewed oatmeal stout by Strongbow 81. Let's have a look. Make some hooch. Well, yeah, hooch. Do you guys, I'm sure you will remember the hooch that you can buy in the UK, which is now sponsored by, oh, what's his name? A comedian, Lee Francis. I can't remember the name of his alter ego though. He started his career on Big Brother years and years ago, and then had the TV series called Bo Selector, which was Really quite funny if you was a young lad, but I seem to have grown out of it a little bit as I've got older. Right, so Stephen Laws on Tiny Rebel. Alf 1982. Of course. How you doing, mate? Not brewed since July 2017. Richard. Yes, I know who Alf is. But he's just bought some ingredients. Good, man. Get back into it. You know what you're missing. Let's have a look. I've just done the same thing again and scrolled 1,000 miles down the chat and lost it. What's a good cleaner for counterflow water chillers and other awkward places? Well, I like to use caustics in the brewery. They're not always readily available for kind of the public, if you like, but anything with sodium, sodium hypochlorite is really really powerful stuff, and in fact it's that powerful it will dissolve stainless steel if you leave it on too long. So they do say the contact time with something like that should be short, but generally normal caustics just sodium hydroxide. And what I tend to do at the brewery is mix that up at a concentration. I think we're at about 4 to 5% if I want to do a really good deep clean, and then I'll recirculate that through the plate chiller, through all the pipe work, through a spray ball at the top of the tank, and then back out the bottom, and then round and round and round on a clean in place loop. And whilst I can just use cold water for this, they do recommend you use warm water of about 60 degrees for the CIP with caustics, but the mechanical action of the clean in place generally tends to take my cleaning fluids from around ambient, 15-20 degrees, easily up to 50-60 degrees, depending on how long I'm leaving it on for. So if you're cleaning something with copper in it, which you might be doing for a counterflow chiller or a plate chiller, then yeah, definitely recommend a caustic based solution, as it won't really attack soft metals, so you're safe in that respect. And then if you want to go kind of once every 10 batches or once every 5 batches, in the industry they recommend once a month for commercial breweries. If you want to go with sodium hypochlorite, then that will really kill anything dead, and it will remove anything as well. And then what I tend to do, because I don't have any soft metals in my brewery at work apart from the 2.25 inch bosses for the elements, I'll rinse all the system down, and then I'll recirculate peracetic acid through the system, and then I'll leave the peracetic acid in the plate chiller to keep that sanitary until the next time we use it. But I wouldn't recommend doing that if you've got a brazed plate chiller, or even an immersion chiller or anything like that with soft metals, particularly copper and brass in it, because the peracetic acid will just eat it, and then you'll be upset that you haven't got anything left. Spider's been for a stroll. Really misses his Thursdays in the shed. Yeah, we all do, mate. We all miss the shed massively. Whose channel? Missing, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'm all good. Albert's in the house. Paul Allison. It's good to see that we've got quite a few Retfordians in the chat. Usually, in the past anyway, I'm Tony Howard's here. How you doing, mate? In the past, when I've done the live streams, before I was telling people in Retford that we had the channel, most of our patrons would be from around the UK and the States or Australia, so it's good to see the locals chiming in. It is literally like the brew shed away from the brew shed, but you're all going to have to drink your own beer, aren't you, instead of my stuff. So we're ready for another one. I think I'll come back to this chat in a second. B&Q's are doing click and collect, says Alf. What for, beer? I hope so. Let's go over to the beer can. Right then, what we're going to have this time, I think I'll stick to the proof of concept, folks, because it is it's filling a hole, and quite honestly, I do want to empty this keg so I can get that IPA on. I won't be putting the IPA on tonight though, because that means I'm going to have to clear this this side, and that will literally take me an age, and I'm going to have to move the camera and all the other stuff. There we go, look, we've got a head on that one. Lovely lovely proof of concept. Yes, that's not number 2, that's number 3 for me, because I had a cheeky G&T to wet the whistle before we went live. So yeah, if I just jump back onto there, I'll show you what we've got in the corner. So we brought these back just like after the weekend. So this is a Black Magic. I think this is Asda's own brand of, so it's a little bit washed out there, I know. See if I can take it onto the other camera. So this is Asda's own brand of spiced rum. It's a little bit too vanilla-y for me, if I'm honest, but Gemma seems to like it. Stu recommended it. He bought it for the pub, and obviously to save me going into the crazy supermarkets at the minute, which I refuse to do. I've not been in one yet since the lockdown. Gemma, bless her, has braved that when we've needed to. But yeah, this is, I believe, Asda's own brand, and whilst it's nice, it's not spicy enough for me. But yeah, as you can see, we've done that since, I don't know, Monday night. And then while we were there, while I was talking, last time I spoke to Stuart down at the brew shed, he says, oh, I got you a maker's marking because you said you'd really enjoy it. So this is the 45% bourbon that they do, which I really do like. And as you can see, that has had somewhat of a hammering this week. And yeah, I know, we're only on Thursday. And then I can't be held responsible for this lot over here. This is my guilty pleasure. You know, this is like my strongbow of the spirit world. This is, I don't want to hold the bottle the other way around because it's designed for an optic, of course. This is Cane Trader rum. It comes out at 37.5%, and it's just sugarcane rum, proper traditional rum. But it's the cheap version that they're selling the wholesalers. So this whole bottle was like 22 quid for 1.5 litres. Yeah, but I do like it. And then same thing here from the wholesalers. You've probably all seen this stuff before, but don't judge me. We've had this for a long time. I haven't done this since Sunday. And then what I picked up today, actually, because I know we've got plenty of it in stock and it's relatively cheap, so I'm not drinking the expensive stuff because I've been on the beer, you know, past few days and what have you, as well as the hard liquor. But this mixed with one of Enzo's tonics. Where is it? I'll show you one of Enzo's tonics. There we go. The Schweppes Slimline. You know, almost calorie free. Sin free drinking. Available at the brew shed, but not at the minute. Oh, Ian Hill's got some bottles of homemade Desperado. Oh my goodness. Bit of Desperados. Let's have a look, what else have we got going on? How's the hot plants doing, Harry? Well, Colin, actually, they've sprouted, but that whole bed there definitely needs a weeding. Yeah, it's not in a great shape, unfortunately, but you know, as soon as we get back there, we'll figure it out. That's meant to be Stuart's herb garden for things such as rosemary and thyme and sage and all the perennial herbs that he can put into his Friday night specials for the gins that he does at the brew shed every week. Let's have a look, what else have we got? Don't judge him for the Budweiser. Brewed there for 30 years, just past noon. Moved on to Sam Adams Boston Lager. I don't judge anybody for what they're drinking. I drink some rat ropey tackle, let me tell you. Froggy will back me up on that. There's not a lot I won't tip down my flip top head, as he calls it. Great to see you in good form, Harry. Mr. Vinyl Ninja says he made his first beer in his new house last weekend. Nice. Same grain bill as the Vacant, just different hops, Citra and Amarillo. Well, the great thing about the base recipe for the Vacant Gesture is that it's unobtrusive and it really allows whatever hop you decide to use with it to shine. And lots and lots of variants on the Vacant Gesture I've made and has been made by other brewers out there, because obviously I shared the recipe. And it's just a brilliant base. It's not too in your face, but it just carries enough malt kind of flavour to enhance a hop rather than overpower it. I don't use it often though with the earthy styles of hops such as Goldings and Fuggles. Not really much point, frankly. If you're going to have a bit of a play around with the Vacant Gesture base recipe, you got it right there, my friend. Citra, Amarillo, Simcoe, Equinox, all those amazing New Zealand hops that are coming out if you can get your hands on them. The New World stuff, the American style hops. This kind of base recipe will definitely let them shine. What 10-litre keg did you say again? Right. So I think they may have sold out at the moment, but it was Brew Keg Tap, which Martin Bailey put me onto it. If you go onto his channel and just look back about 2 months on his videos, you'll see him with it explaining the whole shebang with the blow-off valve, the blow tie it's called. This company sells all of it, and it was shipped in like a day to the door. Whether that's going to happen now during lockdown, I don't know. But the good thing about it was as well, it came with, I can reach over here, this quick disconnect and this party tap here with the 3/16 beer line, which means that you can take it anywhere, and provided you also order the gas in CO2 cylinder regulator, which they also do, so the little CO2 cylinders that you use for like the airsoft guns and that kind of thing. Well, this will take those canisters, which you can carry around in your pocket. They're about as big as this handle, and you can plug that into the regulator, set the pressure on the regulator, which is what I like about it, because you think about back in the past when you used to have the poly pins and what have you, you could put like those kind of CO2 cylinders onto those, but they just discharged the whole cylinder into the poly pin, so there was no control on how much pressure you'd get. So you'd get a couple of crazy foamy pints, then it'd settle down, and then it'd be flat again. This comes with a regulator, of course, and this tap, which is a little bit more complex than the party taps that you'd normally see, and one of those would work fine, but the fact that it was all geared up and ready to go, I kind of liked it. So yeah, check them out. Brew Keg Tap. The prices were pretty reasonable as well. So this 10-litre keg, it costs about the same as a 19-litre corny. We're talking £100 touch, but it was same disconnects and everything. But yeah, it's 10 litres and it's convenient if you want to take it out and about with you. They also do 5-litre versions as well. The 5 litre versions are kind of the stainless steel growler styles. I don't know if you've seen any of the flask Gordon that Tom and I started way back, and then he sent me like 3 of them, and they all leaked when they got here, and then he finally got one of these stainless steel growler things. I think somebody might have sponsored him for it as well. And then he sent that to me, we both signed it and we sent it off, and I think it got lost somewhere, so somebody else bought another one to keep it going, but I couldn't tell you where it is now. But it's the same style of keg, and yeah, I thought, you know, gives you a little bit of variability in your keg stock to be able to just steal 10 litres of beer out of a commercial keg, you know, put it in your swag bag and disappear. So let's have a look on the chat again. So there we go. Spider. Here we go. So we've got death caps. There, 5 dead presidents towards the HB barrel aging program. I don't know. Oh, here's 5 dead presidents. Yes. So who is on the $5 bill? What president is that? I'm not sure, but thank you very much, death caps. It sure is a barrel aging program that we've got going on here, and also a pickling program. As you can see through my spirits collection there, I have been pickling myself for a while. Ronald Last is drinking a pale ale. Keenan Ludman, what's your first beer you'll make past the pandemic? Well, chances are it's going to be something that we often sell in the brew shed, so maybe a pale or the proof of concept even. I've got about 2,000 litres of vacant sat in cryostasis, if you like, at the moment at the brewery. I was tempted today to go down there and hop them, thinking to myself, is it actually going to, the hop's going to help preserve it a little bit? But then I thought, well, if I do that, that means I've got a fortnight at best before I have to move them off the hops. So I was quite reluctant to do it. But when I go back, yeah, probably the first few brews, because you've got to remember, we're a brew pub effectively, so we just need to keep those pipelines flowing. It is gonna be something pretty monotonous that I've done time and time again. But if you're hoping to find out what I actually will be brewing that's new, then I suggest you hit that subscribe button and watch this space, because I will be playing about with that pilot kit when I've got the time, and that's where these new recipes are going to come from ultimately. Let's have a look. Tony Howard, still open to get to you. Oh, the bloody chat jumped again. Still open to get to you in June. Was it June? Let's go back up. I know I'm miles behind on this chat, folks. You're going to have to bear with me. I don't want to miss it, because it'll just end up where we've got nothing to talk about. Keith Lemon, yeah, it was Froggy. Thanks for that, mate. Keith Lemon. Still open to get to you in June, ever the optimist. I hope so, Tony, because it'd be good to get together, even if we have to do it at social distancing regulations, whether that's policeable or not. If they open the pubs and let us do something like that, I don't know. I don't think they will. Unfortunately, I think that the pubs and restaurants are going to be one of the last things to return to normal. But we'll see. We'll see. I am also ever the optimist. Let's have a look. Drinking a homemade American IPA with wheat beer yeast, says Chris Pageant. Cheshire Homebrews in the house. How you doing, my friend? He's drinking a simple Columbus Smash, and it's hitting the spot at 3.9. Yeah, you don't need much more than that. You got to remember, in times like this, when you could potentially be drinking for over 12 hours a day, you really need to rein back on that ABV, so you know you've got the stamina, the lasting power. Matt from Keg Kingdom is in. How you doing, mate? I'm off the beer today, but got a key keg of Fixed Wheel IPA in the garage. Fixed Wheel IPA. Is that from Fixed Wheel Brewery? Are they in Birmingham? Or is it one of your own? Clone, perhaps. Mr. Vinyl Ninja is on the Molston Canada. Bows head in shame. Avid Miriam. Yes, it was Colin. Avid Miriam. Because he was an avid supporter of Big Brother, I believe. What's that? I just missed another comment there. Somebody's doing some... Oh, it's Steve. Have you thought about doing a collab brew with any other brewery? I have, but quite frankly, well, it's only a 500 litre kit, and like I said, most of the other breweries are churning their beers out wholesale. It's not something I want to get involved in. And there's always seems to be the arrangement where if a brewer comes to you, then it's just a it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's an exercise to put their name out there. I can't remember the correct word. And what will happen is the brewer who makes the beer will sell the beer, and maybe the brewer that's coming in to do the collab will take a cask or two away, but it certainly wouldn't be a 50-50 split. And likewise, if I went across to somebody else's brewery and brewed a beer, I'd be walking away with maybe a cask or a keg of beer at best, and yeah, a day less in my diary to do anything else. And normally one of the reasons why we don't have so many brews coming out from the pilot kit and what have you recently is all these other projects that we've had going on, like the restaurant and what have you, because we've got that many people now who are kind of relying on us for their bread and butter. You know, we've got members of staff, and when you start to build a business like that, it sort of moves away from like just having fun and doing it as a hobby, because all these responsibilities get piled onto your shoulders. While I love every minute of it and it allows me to pretty much do what I want to do, there are occasions when I do have to brew beer because we need the beer, not because I want to sit in the brewery and play and have fun with it. So the collab stuff for me at the moment, what I think we'll probably do with stuff like that in the future is have brew tubers and what have you come down to the brewery and we'll brew beers at HB, and you take like a corny keg of the beer home to ferment yourself or something like that. But predominantly it's me going away to play at another brewery. Ain't really going to happen, I don't think, in the foreseeable future, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, I'd like to go out there and be nosy, have a look how everybody else does it, but whether that's... yeah, I just can't see it happening, to be honest. More coconut shy, says Dan. He's looking forward to the stout and next year's plum porter, yeah. He's on the alcoholic hoopers, dandelion and burdock. So yes, mate, I will be doing the plum porter again. That was a resounding success. I'm really pleased how it came out, actually. And just recently, because a lot of our patrons obviously are stuck at home, either self-isolating or with no beer, when I have been down to the brewery, I have managed to pick up odds and sods, bottles of beer that I've not either wanted or thought that I'd get through. And I've been dropping them off at random locations. And Craig, you know, you've all seen Craig on the vlog in the past. I dropped him a few bottles of the plum porter, the experimental plum porter, off the other day, and he sent me a message saying that they were outstanding, even the stuff which I thought was too plummy for a plum porter. So yeah, I think if you've not seen the videos, it's definitely worth going back and having a look at how we developed that recipe and then took it forwards and, you know, to final product. But it was without a doubt a success, unlike the red IPA, which turned out as an American brown ale. Even though the customers really did enjoy the beer, the regulars liked it, it wasn't quite red as we'd have hoped. Right then, let's have another look down here. Basin Soap Dave says he's grown up too. I don't believe you, Dave. He no longer watches the clangers. It's been off them for months now. Again, I don't believe you. I think you're a massive clangers and Moomins, Button Moon. I bet you've got it on rolling repeat, mate. Crab paste indeed, says Matt at Keg Kingdom. Loaded up on the malts and yeasts for the confinement, says Henry. Good man. Get brewing, my friend. It's certainly one way of relieving the boredom, and you might still be locked up when it's ready to drink. So the quicker you can get brewing, the better. I don't think I've spoken one continuous period like this for weeks and weeks. Chris Tebbett's in. Martin Underwood's here. PA plus copper turns the liquid blue. It does, my friend, yeah. That's because the copper ions are being leached into the PA and taken out of the copper. So Froggy will tell you this as well. He'll back me up on this one. We had copper and brass fittings on the cask washer at IVB, and we used to leave the PA in the tanks thinking that we could come back to them the next day and use that sanitizer on the casks again. So it does keep, the PA does keep, provided it's either in a stainless steel or a plastic container. It does not keep so well when there are certain sort of non-ferrous metals in there. So yeah, it definitely it ate through the copper pipework and completely turned it into paper. Didn't happen instantly or overnight, but it took a while, but it did happen after continued exposure. And something else I think is probably worth mentioning for anybody out there who's going to try and use sodium hydroxide or sodium hypochlorite as a cleaner. Whilst that is safe around copper, it's definitely not safe around aluminium. In fact, it liberates hydrogen ions and you can cause an explosion by putting aluminium in contact with sodium hydroxide. So I'd be careful on that front too. You need to know your chemistry when you're using industrial chemicals for cleaning. Let's have a look. Paul Hipwell is moving on to a Morehouse Ice Witch. Colin Barlow's run out of homebrew, so it's a Hop House 13 for me. Well, I say drink that Hop House 13, mate, as fast as you can, then never buy it again. Sodium hypochlorite at 12% at 25:1 mix in a lukewarm water, and it's great for cleaning, but anyone with asthma or breathing issues, wear a mask and use it in a well-ventilated area, says Gary Sharkey. This is true. I do think, though, that you're probably overdoing it a little bit at 12%. You could half that, take it down to 5% easily, and it'd still do as good a job. Make sure you glove up as well, mate, because when you've got that on your fingers and it feels soapy, that's the sodium hypochlorite liberating the fat from your skin cells. Let's have a look. Tropical cider for Lauren, says Franco. Yeah, you know what, mate, if we had any bagging boxes of tropical, I'd let you take one. I really would. I'd stash one for you to pick up later, like we did with the vacants. I see how you secured the liquor bottles from the brew shed. Yes, I did, by bringing them home. Definitely. Where's Gemma? She's in the house. I've not put an embargo on the porch. They're allowed in and out. But obviously she's a bit camera shy today. But they've literally, as soon as I hit the cast button, they were back and forth, in and out. And then all of a sudden they've heard me talking to myself and you guys, and they've given up and stopped in the house. She won't come on, mate, I'm afraid. she's shy. She used to join us on the cast a few times in the past, but I don't think it's quite her cup of tea these days. Marley Chanson is locked down with 2 vodka drinkers, and they both judge you for Red Square. But they're vodka drinkers. Red Square, look, it's vodka. It's basically ethanol and water. Nothing in it. Even the expensive vodkas. It's just more filtered, isn't it? Amanda misses seeing Sam at the brew shed, serving drinks and singing and entertaining us all. Yeah, it's awful. We all miss everybody, the staff, the customers, even just the ability to drive down to work and get out of the house or go for a walk. Danny Whittingham, sin-free drinking equals sinking. I don't know what that means, but it rhymes. Well done. Enzo's tonics are small like him. Yes, they are. Put it back in the fridge, haven't I? But yeah, they're small, but Enzo's got much more of a bite. You too could be as slimline as Enzo. I don't know about that, mate. Shall we say I'm starting from a little bit further up the ladder. Neil Appleford's in. How you doing, mate? Are you going to brew a shipper for the pub? What's one of those then? You'll have to enlighten me, Martin. You know custard apple wine. It's very tasty. Try once. Okay. That's an odd one. Yes, Franco, it's all about the mosaic, mate. Marley Chanson, I love your channel. Watching your ability to build the brewery by hand yourself was amazing. Can't wait to one day try your beers. It's a long travel from Newcastle though. It is, mate, yeah, but hopefully in the new year we'll be doing a bit of canning and I'll be able to send some to you. That would be great. Will Albert ever get around in? Behave, Robbo. Let's have a look. I would like to brew your stout recipe, says B Diamond at Homebrew Hobby. Well, it is, I believe, online. I'm pretty sure I did share that recipe. I'm not going to have a look for it now. And like I say, the brewery website is in pieces at the moment because we've got a friend of ours looking at it. But I'm pretty sure it's out there somewhere. Or fail that, if you do have a Beersmith account, then you can go there and search for Harry Brew 69 in the recipe section of Beersmith, and you'll find a selection of recipes that I've shared. FOC, free of charge for all you beery enthusiasts out there. And if you're not a member of Beersmith, then I recommend it to you because it is the best platform I've found for developing beer recipes, without a doubt. Paul's on the Punk IPA. Friggin' right you are, buddy. BKT are open again from Tuesday, says Martin Bailey. That's brilliant. So anybody wanting to get their hands on any of these 5 or 10 litre kegs, crack on. Let's have a look if we can scroll down carefully. Lost a little bit there. Let's have a look. I have. It's really quite tricky with this. What do you call it? This chat box. So you guys can see where I'm at in the chat at the side there. But obviously, if you're reading your own chat, you may be miles and miles down. And if you're wondering what that image is in the background, then I can tell you that it is a picture that Spider Spider-Man in the chat there took last year, and I thought it was that good I'd use it for a backdrop for the cast. So cheers, mate. Tony says, I thought Froggy was banned from leaving Retford. Yeah, he's not in Retford. Doesn't live in Retford. Harry's on telly waving. Spike says Harry's on telly waving. Brilliant. I love the tilt setup on the pilot. Yes, it's handy, that, man, says Eric. Yeah, without a doubt, being able to get all that spent grain out of the mash tun without having to pick it up is an absolute dream. I might be able to build something in the future for the mash tun on the big kit, but it would be a big old contraption, probably involving bearings and other things to stop it swinging background and potentially decapitating somebody, I would have thought, or removing an arm. Is Froggy still frequenting Chesterfield, says Rob? I don't know. Oh, are we talking about a lady? Maybe. Let's have a look. Publicity stunt. Yes, you're right, Colin. I was talking about the brews with the collaboration brews. God, ABV's this again? Yeah, collab brews, and they are really publicity stunts, for want of a better word. Very rarely do you achieve a fantastic beer out the other side of it. It's just nice to have two breweries' names on a badge, isn't it? What do that in Winnipeg? we do that in Winnipeg, called Big Brew. Our homebrew club once a year does a big brew at a local brewery, and we each take home 19 litres to ferment, says Frazzled Penguin. Yes, there are quite a few homebrew clubs that do something similar, which is a really good idea. Something that we might look at doing in the future as well. Flyabeatha Dominic's here. How you doing, my friend? Reduced to brewing Wurzel's orange wine in the Caribbean. Oh my goodness, mate. Surely you can get a bottle of Vimto, can't you, and put a bit of yeast in it. Wurzel's orange wine. Now that is going back. That is going back. Stu Thomas is here. How you doing, sir? I wonder if you're wearing your tux. Let's have a look. Chris says he's changed out more fittings than a little. Yeah, I imagine you're talking about the cask washer. We did change a lot out. Colin Barlow's got 16 litre apple juice, but he's resisting a turbo cider brew. Just brew the turbo cider, man. Just do it. Dominic's going to have to do a coffee wine if it gets any worse by the looks of it. Caustic CIP to brass heat exchanger. Dissolve the zinc out of the brass. It does dissolve aluminium too. He's been there, says Henry. Yes. Yeah, you've got to be careful with these soft metals. I didn't know that the caustic took zinc out of brass, so that's nice to know. I'll bear that in mind, because we do have caustic in. We do have brass bosses on the elements in the boil kettle. Drinking a German Pilsner he brewed for a club competition, which didn't happen, said David Ruckley. Well, as long as you're enjoying it, mate. Having a Magic Hat Hazy IPA. Or Hazy Pale, should I say, says B Diamond. Tom Williams is here. How you doing, mate? Hope you're staying safe over there. There we go. We're starting to catch up a little bit now. Amanda's asked what new brews do I have in mind for 2020. I'm not sure if that came after I'd touched on the subject or not, but yeah, I'm not sure yet. We're going to have to sit down in front of the Beersmith programme and hammer out some new recipes, I reckon. I've got a lot as well that I did brew, like as a home brew level years ago, which I think excuse me, which I think would survive the scale up. And now I know a little bit more about brewing as well, they might even come out better. Ian Carroll's in. How you doing, mate? I imagine you're consuming one of your fine Blythe Spirit Brewery ales this evening. If not, well, go and bloody get one, mate. And Adrian Morehouse has arrived. Anywhere in the UK that's delivering malt at the minute for home brewers, I really don't know. Hot Rod Garage is here. How you doing, my friend? Yeah, I'm not sure. How's the chicks, Harry? They're brilliant, mate. They're in the house at the minute. The smaller ones that we hatched out are quickly catching up with the one that we hatched out almost a month prior. And they've all now decided that that bigger chick is its mother, is their mother hen. So whenever you take him or her, because we don't know what sex they are yet, whenever we take the bigger chick out of the brood box, all the others are chirping like mad because it looks like they don't know where the mother is. It's quite comical, really. The past few days we've had them outside in the garden because it's been so sunny, and they've been really quite happy running around in a little run. They've been loving it, as have I, in the sunshine. It's been really nice, which is where I've had to resist the temptation to get on the beer early. I managed to wait today though until just before we started the cast. Frazzle Penguin says a local brewery here just recently did a People's Choice brew. It turned out to be strawberry banana milkshake sour IPA. Sounds terrible but tasted great. I'm sure that's something that Rob would be interested in as well. Rob could do with some pop bottles. I know, and I should really go and do some bottling. I've got about 400 bottles that I could fill. I just hate bottling, mate. I really do, and it'll not be ready for 2 weeks. So I should just imagine if I'd have done it 2 weeks ago, they'd be ready now. Yeah, Martin Underwood, coconut shy IPA. I definitely want to brew that again. I really do like that beer, and so do all the patrons of the pub. They really love it. But what I want to do before I brew that is manufacture a type of basket to hold all the coconut, the toasted coconut in. So last time we made it, it took me about 2 hours to poke all the coconut out of the bottom of the boil kettle with a long stick, because it's only a 2-inch outlet on the bottom and we don't have the boil kettle's too small to put one anyway, but we don't have a manway on there. So apart from like grabbing hold of one of the kids by the legs and dropping them in to fish it all out, it is a real pain in the arse to get all that toasted coconut back out. And then for the dry hop stage, what I decided to do was run all of that toasted coconut through a blender to break it up into particles which were a little bit more like smaller than maybe Rice Krispie size, if you follow my drift. And I thought that once that had all settled out and we'd taken the beer off, with it being a finer particle, it would have come out of the outlet a little bit easier, but it didn't. It seemed to sediment. So when it is the larger flakes, which are generally around the size of, about yay big, about the size of a 50p piece or thereabouts, they tend to sediment on the bottom of the keg almost like a shale, if you can imagine that, and they kind of interlock. But when it was minced up in the blender, it sedimented much tighter, and it was even, I couldn't even poke it through with a stick because it was almost forming like a cement at the bottom of the tank. So I need to figure out how to build some type of stainless steel immersible, almost like a hop basket that you'd get for homebrewing, that I can put in the fermenter, and then when I finish fermenting, in the boil kettle, and then when I finish in the boil kettle, I'll be able to take it straight out of there because it'll be sanitized, and then pop it after emptying it, pop it straight into the fermenter, or fail that, I'm going to have to make 2 of them. So we have one in the boil kettle during the brew day, and the other one in the fermenter during the CIP process, the clean in place process. And then hopefully we'll be able to do some more coconut shy IPAs without it taking an absolute age to empty the waste products out of the tanks. And also, the coconut has a lot of oil in it, and that can become quite a problem for the pipe work in the system as well. So it has to be a real kind of intense clean in place schedule afterwards. Because if you've got any dead legs or anything like that in the pipe work, then the chances are that there's going to be quite a considerable amount of oil stuck to the sides of those pipes on the inside. And yeah, it's just a real pain in the arse. It's not something that I enjoy, the clean up after a coconut shy PA brew day, but I certainly do enjoy the beer. Let's have a look up the road at some more comments. Get a brewed in Northern Ireland are still delivering, says Bacchus 173. Malt Miller seemed to be getting orders out, said Mr. Botanic Man. Mr. Botanic Man, there we go. Justin Thornton. Hi Harry, any plans for the long weekend? Long weekend? I've been off since 23rd of March. No, I don't really, there's no plans. I see where you're coming from. I could make some really interesting videos. You know, it's been really quite difficult to motivate myself when I'm just stuck in the house. I have tried a few times to take the camera with me when I've done the run down to the brewery every day. I kind of get out the house, into the car, to the brewery, get out the car, into the brewery. Don't pass a soul. So it's pretty boring. And then when I get there, I just check everything, make sure all the electrical equipment is sound, and then I come home again. You know, so even though I've taken the camera several times thinking I'll do a project today, I've just thought, oh, you know what, I cannot be bloody bothered. Which is odd. I suppose I'm making the most of it in terms of just recuperating a little bit. I was starting to see a few ailments creep in, you see, after the restaurant build. I've noticed that my back has got considerably worse, and I'm starting to get some joint pains, some bursitis, and I've now got tendonitis in my right elbow. And I think it's just from hitting it too hard for the past 2 or 3 years and just being non-stop at everything. And that's the attitude that I've had, really. Just get stuck in. If there's a job that needs doing, I'd do it. It didn't matter if it meant I had to get into work for 6 in the morning or stay until 9 at night. I was just getting cracked on with it all. So now that there's an opportunity for me to kind of just do nothing, I'm enjoying it, to be honest. But this is the problem now. It opens up the door, doesn't it, for you to just say, go on then, I'll have a beer. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, isn't it? But yeah, there are a few projects that I would like to do, and one of them is a proper soap making video, which I think is going to be quite a valuable resource, considering the pandemic and people need to wash their hands regularly, which why is it a revelation for some people, I don't know. But yeah, because soap can be hard to get hold of, then yeah, I think being able to make it at home would be a good thing. And all you need really is some sodium hydroxide or some what do they call it, drain cleaner, effectively, and oil, and a little bit of it's lye, they call it lye, and a little bit of oil, yeah, and some aroma of some type. Anyway, I might do that this weekend. I want to do a hot process soap as well. So the differences between the hot process soaps and the cold process soaps is that a cold process soap, that chemical reaction that's going on that turns the lye and the oil into a salt, it's basically a salt of a fat, the saponification process. That happens really slowly with cold process soap, so you need to kind of age it or let it go for a while, whereas the hot process soap, you're able to use that same day as soon as it's set and cured. So it's something I'd like to do more of. I enjoy it. If you're a brewer, then I think you'll enjoy the process. It's very similar. I've also done some homemade pizzas as well recently. Been figuring out how to make a decent pizza dough, and we've cracked that a couple of times the past few nights. Got some photos on the phone actually of the dough. I wonder if I'll be able to show you it on this particular camera. We shall see. Let's have a look, because that is the hardest part of making a pizza, getting the dough right. So let's just see if I can bring up that there. There we go. So that is the dough after it's been rolled out, ready to receive the topping. So it's really quite thin when it's rolled out, and that was just an after shot of the pizza that I made when I'd cut it up. Not always necessarily perfect circles, so don't try and make a perfect circle, but the good thing about that dough was as soon as you put it in the oven, and you need the oven to be as hot as you can get it, and we've got a pizza stone in there as well, you can immediately see the dough just starts to rise up. So there's something else that I might be making a video about. But yeah, other than just in relaxing and drinking, then if I do anything this weekend, it will be making some more YouTube videos. Let's have a look. Where are we now? Oh my goodness, that's just shot down 1,000 comments all in one hit. Let's have a look. Need a hand with bottling, Harry? No, cheers, Froggy. I don't need a hand with it, mate. I just can't be bothered to do it. You know what it's like. He's been furloughed now. Right, well, there you go. You're off as well. Welcome to Boredomville, sir. Aaron Robertson. Been watching your videos for a long while. I've been wondering, do you have any plans for pressure fermentation anytime soon? No, I don't. The kit that we've got in the brewery is not really designed for pressure fermentation. 3 of the fermenters that I made, ironically, not the ones that I bought, are able to hold a little bit of pressure, but more preventative to stop oxygen getting in rather than fermenting under pressure, if you know what I mean. So when I cold crash, for instance, there's always an opportunity for that cold air space above the beer to draw some oxygen in to compensate for the shrinkage that occurs with the gas volume and the liquid volume as you cool the beer down, which can be compensated by putting CO2 into the tank. But I know for a fact that none of the tanks I've got would hold any pressure, and I've welded them. They've not been pressure tested. So no, I don't think that you're going to be producing beer with a significant difference to warrant going through the expense of getting pressure certified vessels. It's not something that it's not something I'm gonna look into, shall we say. Let's have a look. 411 plus 12, depending on where you are, is an international brew day on YouTube, Facebook, etc. says Henry. So I think this is something that's happening with SJ Paul and Kevin Clements. As far as I'm aware, I've seen a few things on YouTube about it, but I haven't really paid much attention. So if that's what it is, 4/11 to the 11th and the 12th of April, so it's this weekend then, I'm guessing. Is it going to be an overnight thing then, a little bit like the midnight brew that we did back in 2015, was it 2016? Might have even been 2017. Gareth Wilkins says, I once asked you where you bought a pump. I sent for one from China. I hope that's not what set all this off. P.S. The pump is fine. Harry, you can get stainless steel baskets 30 by 30 deep. Yeah, it's not nowhere near big enough, mate. I'm gonna need. I've got the perforated mesh at work, stainless steel perforated sheet with a 1mm hole and a 2mm pitch, and it's what I use to make the false bottom for the mash tun. And what I intend to do with the rest of it is to roll it into a coil. So I'm looking for something around 30 to 50 centimeters in diameter, and then about 120 centimeters, 1200 millimeters, 4 foot in depth. So it's going to be quite a substantial piece of kit when it's made, and I want 2 of them. So I'm hoping that with the perforated mesh that I've got, it is in a 4 foot by 8 foot sheet, or it was before I cut the perth bottom out of it. So I'm hoping what I've got left, it's obviously 4 foot tall, so I'm wanting to see if I can make 2 cylinders out of that, and then whatever those cylinders end up at in terms of radius is what we're going to end up with. I'm hoping it's going to be more than 30 centimeters, but we shall see. Time will tell. Can you get defatted coconut like you can with peanut butter, says Colin. I'm not sure. The coconut is toasted before we buy it. I don't have the facilities to process that even now with the restaurant, and also I wouldn't be able to achieve the same consistency, I don't think. So for the price, we use a company called Wholesale Foods. Buy Wholesale Foods online, it's called, and we buy it around 10 kilograms at a time. I think it works out about 12 quid a kilo for the toasted coconut. Basingstoke Dave's off for a sulk. He's got no beer, has he? Bless him. Dude's Brews in. How you doing, mate? I do feel sorry for you, Dave. Oh, Boy's Own playing in the background. I wonder if you can hear that. Let's have a look at some more of these comments. The oil plus the hot caustic will make soap on the pipe walls. That comes in after I've just spoke about soap. Yes, indeed, it would do. It would do. Rusty Pot Brewers wondering if you could walk us through your steam condenser. Do you spray anything into it? So yeah, I do. So the steam condenser was a contraption that I came up with after doing a lot of research on how to get rid of the steam in the brewery, frankly. So the first few batches of beer that we did after I'd finished the brewery build were kind of later on in the year, so it was pretty cold. And with all of that condensation, or all that steam, should I say, going out into the brewery, it would condensate on the cold air and on the cold surfaces in the brewery and make a fog. So the brewery was almost, you couldn't see from one end to the other with steam. So I needed some way of either venting that externally or controlling it in-house. And where the brewery is, the windows at the side that you can see where the fermenters are, directly behind that there's some residential houses. so I'm unable to vent any byproducts, even though I know it's just steam. You'd be surprised how many people don't like the smell of a brewery. So I can't vent it out that side of the building. So that left me only one option, and that was to treat the steam in-house. So I had a look at a few PDF designs of what the bigger breweries do, because you'll find that lots of these big breweries have to deal with steam. They often have steam condensers, because they want to recycle the energy as well as the water that's coming out of the tanks. So I don't need to go that far. I just need to deal with the steam, obviously, as it's coming out of the top of the tank. So we made like a big candy cane style contraption out of 6-inch stainless steel tube, and to make it easier to assemble and clean, disassemble and clean, I put some 6-inch camlock ferrules on it with the camlock clamps and everything else. Welded it all together, got a couple of big 6-inch pipe 90 degrees, and yeah, basically fabricated this massive hollow candy cane structure, and then I made like a cone to go on the bottom, and the plan was to run that down ultimately to a 3/4 inch pipe, so I could plumb it in and have the water that came out the bottom of the condenser just run away down the drain. Unfortunately, sealing the bottom of that up caused a bit of back pressure and prevented the steam from being drawn into the condenser. So we now have to leave that open, and then what it does, it just drips down into a bucket, and it just pipes away via gravity. So on the condenser stack itself, there are 5 RJT inlets. Somebody really is pumping out the Boyzone. I might have to get the lawnmower out in a minute, folks. Yeah, so the stack has got 5 RJT fittings on it, and each of these RJT fittings has an atomizer, if you like, a misting nozzle, what they use in the horticultural industry or profession. So these normally in a greenhouse would be dotted along a pipeline, and when they want to water the plants, they turn them on and it sprays a mist out in a conical pattern. So I put these into blind holes, if you like, with the other side of it being open to a 15mm copper pipe attachment, and then we run this off the mains, so it's operating at mains pressure, and out of one at the top, which is directional to push the steam down into the stack, so it comes out of the kettle and then down into the stack, and then as that steam's pushed down into the stack, there are 4 more on the stack itself which spray mist into and around that internal cross section of the stack. And what happens then, once it's up and running, once it's going, is it's a positive feedback loop. So as the steam gets pulled in, it's cooled quite dramatically from this cold water that's being sprayed into it, and that creates a drop in pressure, which then creates a vacuum at the top of the steam stack, drawing more steam in, and then it condenses as it gets colder and colder and colder and colder down to the bottom, and then runs out the bottom as water. So the boil off rates for the 500 litre boil kettle that I've got are approximately 30 litres, and the water consumption for running that steam stack for an hour is around 70 litres per hour. So we use about 100 litres per hour of water, which in the grand scheme of things for making 500 litres of beer is not a lot. So yeah, we use about that same amount of water for cleaning a tank, you know, before each brew. So it's quite a good contraption, and it worked pretty much first time after a bit of tweaking when we set it up. So there you go. That's the steam condenser Rusty Pot Brewer. Ian Carroll, I know matey, CBA, he can't be arsed either. I have to get back to work from home, but thanks for doing the live stream, says Frazzled Penguin. Cheers, mate. We're going to try and stay healthy. Likewise to you. I have pasta weekend, lots of Toms and garlic oil, the lot. So basically, Stoke Dave's going to be making a pasta and garlic beer then, by the sounds of it. Soap videos, yeah, Ian. I'll do some soap videos. I'm pretty sure I'll get around to doing something like that. Oh, there we go. Jumped again. I'd really like to know how to slow this bloody chat down. Here we go. Let's have a look. Could you make some videos on how to make toilet paper as well? Seems like people just wash their hands after taking a dump these days. Hi from Spain, said Paco. How you doing, my friend? 3 weeks minimum, says Chris. If you're thinking that's how long you're going to be fillowed, probably right, mate. Probably right. Anyone got a Camden tablet they could drop round my house? You can leave it at the end of my drive. I'm desperate to brew. Well, what do you need the Camden tablet for? Is it for water treatment? Is it to try and get chlorine or chloramines out of your water? Do you have chloramines in your water? Might be worth looking at your water supply's website to find out if you do. If it's to sanitize your equipment, I'm sure there are other things in your household that you could perhaps use. Midnight brew was a long time ago, says Alf. I didn't brew but stopped up all night chatting rubbish. Must have been 2014. I think you're right, mate. I think it was 2014. Craft Beer UK's in. How you doing, my friend? Kevin Barber's here. People don't like the smell of the brewery. What's wrong with these people? I mean, yeah, I think it smells fantastic, but yeah, some people just don't like it. Paul's off. Thanks, mate. Nice to see you. Nice. Double B made a vacant gesture clone with peanut butter added to the keg. It came out great. Well, that's a first. Rob Bayliss has just noticed Brewers Select are doing 5 kilograms of malt and 1 kilogram of hops from tomorrow. Wow, well that's handy information, isn't it? Are they going to deliver though? Because I know that their delivery charges are sky high. We don't use them that often these days because they tried to pull a dirty trick on hop contracts a couple of years ago. So I use them for the hops and some specialist malts, but not often. The ropers, just boil the water to get rid of chlorine and chloramines. Yes, absolutely. Boil it and let it cool, you'll get rid of it all. Have you thought about automating your brewing system? As in PLC. I'm not sure what PLC means, but in terms of automation, I'm pretty much as automated as I'd like to get. The hot water comes on in the morning and I don't have to be there. I can set a timer. I can set it to boil. I don't have to keep an eye on it. It'll stop at like 98 degrees if you like, so I don't get a boil over it when I'm not looking. And then I can change the settings on the PID to maintain a rolling boil. I've got timers. I do think that it's important to keep a physical aspect involved in small batch beer brewing as well. I think automation takes a lot of the passion out of the system or out of the process. But yeah, it's about as automated as I want to get, just having PID control and temp control really, and timer to turn it on. Being a Homebrews here. Nice one, mate. This was inspired by one of your kegerator builds, by the way. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to be automating the brewer anymore. I could. I've got water meters to sort out on there. I might be doing a little bit more in terms of the water meters, but that's more on the accuracy side of things rather than taking it out of my hands. I've got to wait an hour for the boil. I've got to wait an hour for the mash. I've I've got to wait an hour for the knockout to the fermenters. So out of a brew day, there was 3 hours. Let's say it's a 6.5, 7 hour brew day. I generally have around 3 hours to set up cleaning for the fermenters, to clean up and dig out the mash tun, and then I normally end up with an hour or two to do a bit of paperwork or another project. So yeah, I don't really need any more automation than that. Liam's in. How you doing, mate? Why do you always use fresh yeast? Or have you ever tried washing and reusing yeast? Said Kevin Barber. Yeah, we've harvested, I think is the correct term, not reused and recycled. Harvested yeast in the past, but it's at the minute it was easier and more sustainable for me to continue to use dry yeast until we had a solid brew schedule in place where I could consistently rely on having beers at certain stages in their development that I could harvest yeast from. So I've got all the equipment to do it, apart from a reliable cold store which I could knock up in an afternoon. But what I don't have at the minute is a reliable brew schedule to enable me to have it. And when you recycle and harvest yeast at this level, this amount of yeast, you don't want to be sticking it into your cold store and leaving it for 2 weeks. You want to be recycling or reusing it within the week at max. Shall we get a band sorted for when you're open again, says Liam. What do you mean, for the pub? There's been talk of the Doghouse playing, Ollie's band. You'd have to speak to Stu. I don't think a band will fit in, mate, when we reopen. We're going to be rammed, aren't we? It's going to be wall to wall. Thank God the pub's open, drinkers. I'll certainly be there, mate. Where are we? Is it possible to set up a PayPal account? Would love to contribute on occasions from Australia. Well, yeah, I've got a PayPal address. It's chris@harrisonsbrewery.com on PayPal. You can ping us a few quid over that way if you like, or a few dollars if you can stretch to it. But like I say, they've got the super chat on YouTube as well, and there's the Patreon account, all of which have been absolutely they've played a big role in the past few weeks in allowing us to do what we need to do in order to make the business survive, and in terms of being able to pay wages and rent without me being a burden on the business as well. So it's much appreciated. PLC is programmable logic control. No, so that's Craft Beer UK. It's not something I've looked into. I'm the kind of person with things like that likes to, if I'm going to get stuck into a project like that, then I need a lot of time to not do it half-arsed, if you know what I mean. I want to get in there and get stuck in. Like the tilt hydrometers, for instance, when I set that up, that was much more difficult for me than it would have been for a lot of other people, because even though I'm technically minded, I didn't ride the wave of information technology like many other people that are younger than me have been able to, and I was too young either to be involved in the start of it all, so kind of went over my head for a number of years. So what I do in that respect, a little bit of programming that I can do, I'm heavily reliant on other people's YouTube videos to get me through it all. Right, I'm just going to see if I can pause the chat there for a minute, and I'm going to play a video, because I need to go to the little boys' room. So hopefully this will work, and 4 minutes will be long enough for me to go and do what I need to do, if indeed it'll load up, which it doesn't look like it will. Come on, you bugger. Here we go. Right, so 1 moment please, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to bag her off to the little girl's room and leave this with you. Right, I'm back, folks. I know I just left you in eerie silence there for a moment. I do apologise. I was just saying I'm about ready to go for a drink. Now, we've just had a brief word from our sponsor, and I'm thinking that drink is probably going to be a nitro porter. Whilst the proof of concept has been fantastic and looked after me so far this evening, I think I'll just have a change. More for you guys to see the porter coming out of the tap, to be honest, but the downside is I overcarbonated this keg and it's not actually coming out as a nitro porter. It comes out as a pint of foam. So I've had to remove the carbonation, the nitro plate out of it, and as you'll see, it'll just pour like a keg porter essentially, which is basically what it is now. But never mind, the worst things have happened at sea. So this is an Anchor Steam brewing glass. Only holds 2/3 of a pint, but it's quite a hefty glass. And I really do quite like it. I chipped it down here in the bottom, I don't know if you can see that, which was a bit of a mistake. And here we go. Look at that little beauty. Oh, it kind of does hold its head well. Now, doesn't that look appetising for all you folks out there who are on call or have run out of beer at home? Hey, don't worry, I'll have one on your behalf. So yes, cheers folks. This is the porter that we made way back before Christmas for the brew shed, and this is the base recipe that the plum porter, the plum flavouring went into. Oh, and it's just getting better and better and better with age. It really is. It's one of them beers that if we had that in tanks before this pandemic, I'd definitely not be worried about it surviving when we come out of the other side. So let's see if we can catch up on this chat. I'm just going to go outside and have a look who's playing this bloody music. That's unbelievable. It's literally 10 doors up. I think it's somebody out karaoke. They shouldn't be. Let's have a look. That's an age-related joke about peanuts. Well, I must have missed that. Oh, I can hear somebody singing. Oh, they're all clapping for the bloody NHS, aren't they? I forgot about that. I thought they were clapping the bloke who'd stopped singing. Well, yeah, there you go. If you're not going out for a clap for the NHS, just have a clap where you are. You don't have to stand on your doorstep if you don't want to. Everybody is definitely saying thank you, and so they should be. I'm behind that 100%. So let me just catch up on this a little bit more. You mean Chris? Hope you're well. Cheers. Snows, yes, I am, mate. I hope you're well too. There we go. I'm starting to catch up a little bit on the no sound, Harry, no sound. Yeah, that's how far behind the chat I am on the chat. Don't worry, I've got it sorted. Can you hear the fireworks people are setting off? That's a good round of applause, that is. Well done, Retford, is all I'll say. What's my favourite karaoke song? Says Craft Beer UK. Well, fucking hell, it's been a while since I've actually sung any karaoke, mate. What would it have been? Oh, it was probably a Robbie Williams track or something like that. That's how sad I am. The Ropers, cheers from Texas. Cheers, my friend. Call over and tell them to log on. I seriously think it is somebody driving down the street outside with this music, and they are doing a karaoke thing out of the back of their car to cheer people up. If I could go mobile, I'd go mobile and show you, but unfortunately I can't. So you're stuck in here with me. But yeah, Retford's definitely getting behind the NHS tonight, which is a good thing. My ex-workmate Scott is a brewmaster there. Where's that then? I'm not sure. Greg's arrived. How you doing, buddy? Been a long time. Somebody's in Dallas. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that going on in the background. Definitely going to flag me up for a copyright issue at some point, aren't they? Right, so we've just passed the 2 hour mark on the stream. I was going to end it at 2 hours, but let's roll it on to 3 and we'll see where we go with it. So we'll be packing up about 9 o'clock, I think. I have had a little bit of a thought about what to do the next time we do a stream if this lockdown continues, and even though standing here and having a chat and talking to you about the comments is kind of working, I think it would be a bit more lively if we could interject some type of music into it, make it a little bit a bit more exciting. So maybe I'll look into moving across onto the one of the live streaming platforms, not necessarily on YouTube. So what we used to do back in the day when we do our live show every Friday night from 8, Dave and I used to be in the brewery just here, and we would cast on vaughanlive.tv, which was a live streaming service. I'm not sure whether it kind of still exists, but it was a little bit more relaxed in terms of DMCA takedowns, and that's the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So if I was playing, let's say, a Michael Jackson song, on YouTube, it'd get flagged up immediately and taken down due to copyright issues, and it'd take down the stream, and I'd also risk having a copyright strike on the channel, which is not something I'm prepared to do. But if we cast on something like Vaughan Live, then there's a chance that we can have a little bit more fun and have a bit more of a pub environment than just a monotone, boring youth just chatting to you from one side of the camera and not having any feedback really apart from the chat. I don't know, what do you think? Do we have a look at moving on to that and do another cast next week? It might work. It'll certainly be more like a virtual pub. Anyway, just an idea. If you want to stop on YouTube and do the chat, that's fine. That's fine with me. Right, let's have a look down the chat. Brew the mild again, or the Norseman, said Froggy. Yeah, the mild was a fantastic beer, and the Norseman even more so. The mild revolution, we called the mild. So yeah, that'd be a good call to brew it, but I don't know if I've got the hops to do the Norseman and brewing the mild when we're potentially going to go back to work in June or July. Missed the boat a little bit. We could save it for Christmas though, buddy. That'd be a good idea. Here's to bad karaoke. Cheers, man. Glenn69 for you. Great to see you live, my old mate. I've been following you from the very beginning of the brewery. Well, cheers for sticking around, pal. Check out Twitch for live streaming, says Jeb. Yes. I think Vaughan Live and Twitch may have merged. I'm not sure 100%. Next door's clapping for the NHS. Her old man has turned up at her house twice a day minimum during lockdown. You're right, Alf. You can't make it up, can you, sometimes? Our neighbour is out playing Over the Rainbow on his corner out the window. But you know what? Whatever gets you through. Whatever gets you through. Oh, and Anchorstein Brewmaster, Henry, yeah. Well, I've not been lucky enough to travel across the pond to the brewery, but I like the beers. Have they not been bought out by Molson Coors or Sab Miller? I think they may have been. Always a shame when a big brewery gets bought out and has the life and soul sucked out of it. Mind you, if somebody offered me a few million, and then I'd just open up again around the corner. I heard that's what happened with a couple of hardware stores in the UK. Screwfix and Toolstation, two of my favourite stores. You'll know if you follow the vlog on a regular basis. And the chap who set up Screwfix sold it to B&Q, or the company that owns B&Q, and then a year or so later opened up Toolstation and began opening up shops next door to where most Screwfix outlets actually are, which I don't know how much truth is in it, but it certainly sounds like something that could potentially happen. Reinstate the cast. Yeah, you mean you're right, Froggy. You mean Dave, don't you? Rebecca C, thank you. Nice chat. Look forward to the next one. Yeah. Cheers, Rebecca. Let's have a look. How's the pissing frog, Chris? No longer in South Yorkshire. I'm sure he's doing all right. Vaughan Live is still working, says Kevin Barber. Greg's hanging in there. Good man. Makes a change from you hanging out though, doesn't it, buddy? Where's Dave? Missing the old Friday night sessions, says Sean. Yeah, you're right, mate. They were great, weren't they? I don't think it's essential travel though to get him to come round next Friday, is it? Unfortunately. The weekend of lockdown, we were meant to be going out on that Saturday to celebrate his 6-year anniversary of opening his own business. Dave fits windows for a living. It's called Dixon Windows, which I'm sure you're all aware of, because I've mentioned it several times. And yeah, they've had their ups and downs, but they're still going, you know. And we were going to go out and have a celebratory drink, and we don't often get together these days, certainly not as much as we'd like to, but when we do, it's always a fantastic fun night, as you can imagine. You know what Dave's like, don't you? He's an absolute lunatic. Right, I'm just trying to control the chat, folks. Let's have a look then. Oh my goodness, my back's giving me a little bit of jip. What are you drinking? Is that a plum porter, says Glenn? No, this is the base recipe for the plum porter. So when I made the plum porter, if you look back on the video, I decided to make a base porter recipe that was outstanding in its own right, because I'd read in a couple of the recipe design books that adding fruit flavours to a beer is never going to enhance a beer. You need a really good beer to start with and then build upon it. So I designed this porter base to be pretty unobtrusive, but very well balanced in its own right. If anything, erring on the sweet side, because I was told that bitter beers can compete with fruit flavours. So I wanted to make sure that the bitterness levels were really quite low, and we made the beer, and it turned out, in my eyes, absolutely fantastic. And you know, don't just take my opinion for it. A lot of the drinkers in the brew shed absolutely love it as well. And then I did a little bit of an experiment where we put varying amounts of this Uncle Roy's plum essence into it, which is a plum. It's not an artificial extract; it's a fruit extract, and just half a milliliter of Uncle Roy's plum essence per litre of this base beer seemed to hit the sweet spot. And when we put it on the bar, it walked. It absolutely walked out the door. Everybody loved it. There were your sticklers that were saying, I prefer the Titanic Plum Porter, or I prefer the St. Peter's Porter. Well, yeah, that's fine. You will. But is it a good beer? That's all I wanted to know. It was not a competition. It was just me trying to make a really good plum porter, and I think I did. I think I did it all right. Let's have a look. Vaughan. The Vaughan Live days were fun, and yes, the platform still works along with iVlog. Well, there we go. If the platform still works, I think we may just see if we can resuscitate it a little bit. I thought they teamed up with Twitch. I could be wrong. Probably am. Worked with him at AB. Got bought, and then Anchor bought by Sapporo. Really? All right. So Sapporo are the Canadian brewing company, which, as far as I'm aware, were bought by or bought up the massive Japanese conglomerate. I can't remember the name of it at the moment. I could be wrong. I'm just trying to go off very sketchy memory of brewery acquisitions that happened years ago. But you'll find that a lot of your favourite breweries these days are part owned by big money, effectively. And that's what allows them to get involved in canning, for instance, or the supermarkets, that kind of thing. They've got a leg up from big money, and it is a saturated market as well, and it's not going to get any easier for the small man to get his foot in the door. Not going to get any easier. Right, Dicko in there too. Chris's Porch Brewing, yeah. Just catching up on the chat, folks, sorry. WebEx for the St. Louis Masters Brewers meeting next week. The BrewTubers seem to have a huge interaction on YouTube. Not smart enough to tell you how, I don't know. You've lost me a little bit there, mate. I must have missed something in the chat. Let's have a look. I notice your dog doesn't like the same noises as ours, says Greg. You ought to try making the noise you would when you are about to hurl up. They find that too much. I'm going to do that later on, without a doubt. So yeah, Reggie's got some really strange traits. If he runs out the front door or something, he won't come back in. You shout at him, Reg, you ask him nicely. You try and coax him with a treat. He won't come back in. Don't have to be the front door, back door, wherever. I can let him out for a pee at night, let's say before I go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And he'll just stand there at the top of the steps looking at me, goading me. And I'm like, Reggie, I've let you out for your convenience, and now you're inconveniencing me, if you like. But he's not bothered, is he? He's a proper little juvenile delinquent. And yeah, so that's one of his strange traits. Another one is his peeing. Like, I think it's a submissive response that dogs do. So first thing in the morning when he's just woken up, he'll come over to you, bum waggling like mad, and as soon as you stroke him, he does a little bit of pee. I think he'll grow out of it though. I've known a lot of other pups doing that as well. And then there's the blowing raspberries. So if you blow a raspberry at him, he's petrified of it. He runs away, which is odd. So I'll try the imitation hurl noises later on and see how he reacts to that. But there are a couple of things that he does at the minute which I'm going to try and get out of him. So when the kids go on the swings or on the trampoline, he kind of goes primordial. he gets really aggressive and tries biting. He's bit Abby once or twice when she's been on the trampoline and on the swings as well. So what we tend to do is just keep him out of the way while she's going on any of these things outside, or I have to be there. So my presence seems to be like, he must see me as the alpha. He don't know Gemma's the alpha yet, but I'm not going to tell him. So yeah, if I'm there, it tends to calm him down a little bit, but if I'm not there, then he just goes mad. But Chance has also done that quite a bit as well. So if the kids are on the swings or the trampoline, he makes a fuss, but he doesn't really get aggressive. He whines a lot. So I don't know, maybe it's just a herding instinct thing. They see a lot of action going off, they want to be involved. I'm not sure, but you can tell he's going to be a really nice and affectionate border collie when he gets past this teenager phase, if you like. And of course he's not been for the chop yet, and he'll be going for it, and I reckon that will calm him down considerably. It's one of the reasons why I think Chance is such a nice dog, because he just doesn't have that hormonal instinct, because he's a guy with no testicles. Calms you down considerably, doesn't it? Not that I know from personal experience, like. But let's have a look at the chat again then. Worked with him at AB, but yeah. Craig Tube's still doing Vaughan Life, says Jeb. Is he really? Wow, well, Craig Tube was doing Vaughan Life from day one, as far as I'm aware. Who in the chat then? We've got 110, 111 viewers. Who in the chat can remember Craig Tube on Vaughan Live falling asleep at his record player? That happened way back in that was about 2013, 14. It was really quite funny. Screwfix was getting so much cheaper before B&Q bought them out. As the prices drifted up, B&Q bloody pressed the down button and I've lost it. As the price drifted up, B&Q's prices, Toolstation emerged as a new online store undercutting B&Q again. Guess what? Yeah, well, I love both of the stores equally, because what they've done is enabled you to have hardware available at the push of a button. So if I need some hinges or some drawer runners or a new grinder or a saw blade, I can just go on there and I can see if they've got it in stock. I love the fact that they've got their stock actually on the website, what they're holding. I can just drive down the road, which is less than a mile from where the brewery is, and I can get my hands on it. And if they don't have it, provided I want it before like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if they don't have it in stock in the local store, I can get it delivered the next day. And it's at work pretty much. I get to work in the morning. The guy who delivers the parcel force deliveries around here, which are what they use, he normally rocks up at 10 o'clock every day like clockwork, because I'm on his route. And the convenience. It is literally my favourite store. If I was still in the building trade, then I'd be using them every day. I use them every day, and I'm not in the building trade, but it would have opened avenues for me, which is a really good thing. It's a great, and the fact that there's two of them means that neither of them have a monopoly on price, and they're both always competing on that, which is another great thing. Let's have a look. Ian's got to go. Cheers, mate. All the best to you and yours, my friend. I'll see you soon, hopefully, man. Alf says, when did you cast from Whitby? And Dave was unwell. Dave was unwell outside. Yes. So we once went to Whitby on a long weekend break. So there was both of our families, myself and Dave's family, and it was in the midst of us doing the Vaughan live casts that we used to do. And we set up. We had multiple cameras. You know, like I've got the beer camera over here at the minute, so you can have a look at the bar. Well, we had all that kind of stuff set up. I think I had like 6 cameras that we used to use, and we'd use this streaming software that I've got running at the minute as well, OBS. And we'd play videos. We'd have a playlist. It was absolutely fantastic. It was good times. And we took the whole thing. We packed it all up in the back of the car, and we took it all to this cottage that we leased out on Whitby seafront. And we cast from bloody Whitby, which I think was an amazing achievement, to be able to put the whole thing together and make it work from there. We went sea fishing the following day. I caught my first ever cod, which I ate that night. Dave didn't catch anything. Still makes me chuckle today. But yeah, we went to a bottle shop, which was just around the corner of where we were staying, and they had a load of beers in there from local breweries such as Wold Top, which is a brewery local to Whitby, Scarborough. So we bought a load of these beers and we drank them on the live cast and what have you. But Dave, he's always been a bit sicky when he has a drink. And yeah, I do remember he went into the back, like the little yard that we have with this cottage, and he was sick down the drain at the back. And then the following night, it was the girls' night to have a drink, and Gemma got drunk on vodka and lemonade. And I think I put a video online of her singing It's Raining Men with an umbrella in the kitchen. I subsequently had to take it down pretty quickly, unfortunately, but it's still unlisted on YouTube. I've saved all the videos that I've made in the past on YouTube. They're all still on there, but they're all unlisted now. I've not deleted anything. Because obviously it's nice to look back at them, and it's reference there for the kids as well, you know, when, if provided YouTube keeps going when I'm gone, they'll be able to look at it. If not, I'm sure we could download it all. But yeah, I just thought, don't delete them all, save everything. But obviously, as the channel's progressed and evolved over the years, there have definitely been certain videos that I've made which I'm not proud of, and there are certain videos which are probably a little bit blue in terms of content for where I want this particular channel to be heading. So they've been taken off. So what that's done is it's had a massive impact on my perceived view count on YouTube. So I've got over 3 million views on YouTube, which isn't a lot really in terms of YouTube, but it's a lot for a kid from Retford who makes beer in his shed. But since I've had to delete or make unlisted lots of these videos, then the views aren't counted in the metrics anymore. There's a bit of information which I just thought I'd throw in there. But yeah, there was the video of Gemma singing It's Raining Men with an umbrella after drinking vodka and lemonade. There was a New Year's Eve party video. No, it was actually, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve party video, where Dave came round and he was sick in my kitchen, in the sink, and I was picking up foodstuffs out of his sick on the video and making him sick even more. I didn't think that was suitable content either. So that was one of the videos that we made private. Anyway, I digress. Homebrew Griffo, I agree. Uncle Roy does have some incredible plums. Let's have a look. then, oh God, I did it again. As soon as you click that, click the button and it scrolls past so fast, I can't catch up. There we go. Sleeman's got bought by Sapporo. I'm not sure who Sleeman's Brewery were, but another one that's been gobbled up by Sapporo, which are they now? I'm sure they're now a Japanese or have Japanese owners. Dude's Brew's got another batch of vacant recipe in the fermenter at the moment. Didn't have any Challenger though, so I went for Centennial to change it up a bit. Well, the good thing about the vacant gesture recipe is that the early edition of the hops, the 60-minute edition, is only there for the IBUs. So it originally started off as an all mosaic beer, and that edition was mosaic to give us, I think it's 26 IBUs on that recipe. And then it kind of occurred to me when I realised that on a commercial basis you have to pay £32 a kilogram. I think it's gone up to 36 plus these days for mosaic pellets, particularly a recent crop year, gets more expensive. I thought, well, why am I throwing them in at 60 minutes to get 26 IBUs when all that's left is the IBUs, and the aroma, the flavour, all of what you've just paid for has just gone up the chimney. So I used Challenger because it was an English hop and it was readily available and it was less than 10 quid a kilo. And I swapped them out. This was when we were still back in the Idle Valley Brewery days, and nobody knew the difference. So I thought, well, either my beers are that variable in the first place anyway that people can't tell the difference, or I was correct in thinking that that 60-minute edition was adding nothing but IBUs, and the flavour profile and the aroma profile was completely lost. And now that I'm a wee bit more experienced in brewing, I now know that to be a fact. So there are certain hops that you could use for that 60-minute edition that would give a different character. Like if you use something like Hercules, which is a really spicy, extremely high IBU hop, which has lots of the beta acids in there that aren't necessarily going to give you a smooth bitterness that you might get from Challenger or Mosaic. So provided you're using a similar hop in terms of hop oils, then you're going to achieve a very similar kind of bitterness profile, and that's all we're after. But why waste your expensive hops on a 60-minute edition? I wouldn't advise it to anybody, and you are blowing it up the chimney. That's money down the drain in my eyes. So that's why Challenger was employed instead of Mosaic for the 60-minute boil. I have used other hops as well in the past, but having the 30-minute whirlpool stand below 80 degrees C is absolutely imperative to get that vacant gesture kind of bite. And it's not just below 80 degrees C either. It kind of is, you need it at 80 degrees C. Because I've made the mistake before where I've put the hops in, but I've mistakenly kept chilling, and the temperature's gone down to, let's say, 65. When that beer comes out, it's definitely a different beer. Or there's the flip side where I've put the hops in for the whirlpool stand at 80 degrees, and then I've gone and done something and I've left it for an hour or 45 minutes instead of 30 minutes. That also changed the beer as well. So the 30 minutes and the knockout time, that's another thing. It takes me to transfer about 500 litres through the plate chiller into the fermenter about 50 minutes. So you have your 30-minute whirlpool stand, but then the transfer time as well from boil kettle to fermenter is about 50 minutes. So if you get a blocked up filter, or you're in the middle of summer and your mains water's a little bit warm and you can't pull the temperature down quick enough and you have to run slower for your knockout, that's going to affect the final product as well. Or if it's the middle of winter and you're blasting it through, because the groundwater is really cold, and you get to chill it down in 30 minutes, all variables that are going to affect the final flavour and aroma profile of the beer for this particular type of beer anyway. So in the summertime, I have to be conscious of how long it's going to take me to get down to pitching temps. Sometimes I might have the cooler on the fermenter and knock out at a little bit of a higher temperature, say maybe 23, 25 degrees C, and then let the fermentation cooler bring it down a bit as well, just to get it out of the tank, because even though it's going into the fermenter at 23, whatever's still in the boil kettle at that time is still sat at 80, so it's still, you know, changing those hop oils a little bit. It's still it's dynamic process going on in the kettle. And then likewise during the winter, if it's cold, I may decide to throttle the cold side on the heat exchanger to give me a 50-minute knockout speed, to try and keep the consistency there, you know. And because the vacant gesture is such a unique beer, people can really tell if there's any variability in there, and it always seems to be the variability comes from transfer time, the dry hop time, and the seasonal variability in the harvest year of the hops. So 2018, for instance, was a bad year for Mosaic, and all the 2018 hops that I've used, people have noticed that they've not been great, and it's been I've had better results by buying 2017 hops and using them instead, because it gets me closer to what the beer should taste like, strangely enough, even though it's a year older. And you'll notice as well, if you look around a lot of the hop merchants such as Brewer Select and Charles Farram, they're all now moving the goalposts a little bit on hop storage. And while you used to get about 3 years on your vac packed stuff, now they're using Mylar and nitrogen flushed vac pack. They're putting 5 years as a best before date on all the hops now. I'm not sure whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. If it's a good thing and they've analysed the hops and they are coming out as they should do in terms of aroma profiles at the very least, then yeah, mate, that's a good thing. It's going to bring the price of hops down a little bit because they don't have to store them quite as long. But if it's just a marketing ploy and they're just trying to offload hops that they've not sold on contract from previous years, then it's going to give brewers a false sense of security, I think. So it's one of them things where we're going to have to play it by ear as brewers. But like I say, hop year does make quite a difference or harvest year makes quite a difference in the final product. I suppose it's like anything else, isn't it? We've all seen trading places, haven't we, when they're waiting for the markets to show on frozen concentrated orange juice, was it a good year? It's very, very similar with these brand named hops, particularly the ones coming out of the States. Let's have another scroll. There it goes, look, flies up. Let's have a look. That protection thing, like what you are doing, you're going to hurt yourself. Don't know what that protection thing is. I love it when a call gets cancelled. Don't know what that is. It never calmed me down. Good night, my friends. I'm off to watch Tiger King and chill with the wife. Good night, Craft Beer UK. I actually watched the first 3 episodes of Tiger King last night, which I found really quite interesting as well. Fucking Carol. Getting married, mate, that'll calm him down. Oh, he's calmed down. If we're on about Dave. Yeah, he's calmed down. I think you're on about Dave. I don't know. Before my time. Eclipse 9101 remembers it. It was a Dave classic for sure. Did you mention Craig Tube says beer me to enjoy. I'm watching you while I'm working from home. You're procrastinating, my friend, aren't you? That's not a bad thing. Tom says, I thought he caught crabs. Well, yes. On more than one occasion, Dave caught crabs. And that wasn't while we were at the coast. Have you started selling one customer at a time carry out at the brew shed? Will they let you sell keg beer 1/6 of a barrel to the diehards who have taps at home? Well, Henry, what we did, you've got to remember when I publish these vlogs, very often you're behind the videos in the can, then it's been sat on the SD card, and then I have to get around to editing it, and then I have to upload it and release it. So when we filled all the mini kegs up, which I think went out, that video went out last week, we were actually inundated with people saying, are you selling mini kegs this weekend? That all happened the weekend previous. So we only had 100 mini kegs in stock or thereabouts, and we filled them all up, and then the following day or the following Saturday we opened up under our off license, doing a 1 in 1 out kind of thing. I don't know if I put the video up, I think I have. And anyway, 100 mini kegs went in an hour, and we sold a few bottles and stuff that we had as well, but yeah, they all went. And then since then Stuart's been tasked with trying to source another pallet of mini kegs so we can hopefully get rid of some more of this stock that we've got sat in tanks, but as of yet he's had no luck. So I know there are companies out there selling them, but we normally pay around between 4 and 5 quid per mini keg, and well, we can't find them at that price at the minute, so I'd rather just sit on the beer, keep it chilled, save it until we open up again. It will be fine. Like I say, some of these beers I've had here, the proof of concept's been here since before Christmas, and it is getting better. So I'm certainly not concerned about the beer not surviving the lockdown, provided we're open before autumn. But if we can get more mini kegs, we will. I don't know about selling kegs to the diehards. Like I say, we don't do wholesale simply because there's no money in it, and I don't want to let my containers go off site. So the 30 litre kegs that we've got and the 40 litre casks, they're all 100 quid each, and you're going to be selling the beer for 70. So if someone takes the cask off you and they never bring it back, you're down 130 quid. So yeah, it's not ideal. Bagging box though and mini kegs are perfect for us. Let's have a look. Can you put Gemma's video on Patreon for special content? I might just do that, mate. Harry's Blue Tube. Fucking Blue Tube. That's really quite funny. I like the Patreon idea, yeah. Been there, that's bad. Sync comment. Yeah, it is, yeah. It is bad, that's why I took the video down. Morning from Queensland, Australia, says Matt Sordy. How you doing, mate? Remember those casts, Harry? You still owe me for winning a pub quiz. I bet I do, you know. Don't worry, mate. We'll send you some beers I've won. I've got back behind the rudder. No, tiller, not rudder. You're correct. Blew off the aroma. Well, there we are then, yeah. Yeah, I'm doing the same, Tom. Staying in and eating and drinking far too much, my friend. But I mean, there's not much else to do, is there? I've literally been fasting today. Don't fucking laugh. I have. I've had a tuna and cucumber sandwich, and that's it. That's why these beers are going to my head. Would you not believe it? And yeah, a gin and tonic, two 2/3 pint glasses of proof of concept, and a nitro porter. I know I don't have to justify myself. I know I don't have to justify myself to anybody, but I'm telling you now, I really have overindulged these past few weeks because I've just thought, well, why not? Why not? Could all be over tomorrow, couldn't it? Let's face it. So, may as well enjoy it while you can. Yeah, you're right. Why not charge a deposit for a keg? But that's not something that they do in the UK, unfortunately. There's only one company that does that, and that is the firm that sells the sour beers. I can't remember what their name is. It's not Timmermans, Leafmans. The Leafmans Creek. They charge a £20 deposit on their kegs, and their kegs are 20 litres as well. So they're about the same size as the corn is, but they've got the Sankey fitting on top. And even though they charge a £20 deposit, I can't say it didn't cross my mind that £20 a good price for a keg. Thought about bringing one or two of those home. But I haven't. No. I know how upset I'd be if somebody stole my keg, so yeah, I must say, it's not something that's happened. How's the madness in the big city, Tom? I'm guessing Tom lives in one of the cities in Ireland then. And Greg's in the sticks. I know Greg's in the sticks. Greg is Dullen Brewing, by the way, because I tried to send him a mash tun once, and it took 2 months to get there because the courier couldn't find his house. I'm sure you'll remember that, Greg. Get a brew to sell mini kegs around that price, I think. Not sure if they do pallets. Well, for about £4 or £5, yeah, that's about the going rate. I'm pretty sure that was the going rate, unless I'm wrong, and it was £2. I'm pretty sure it was about £4 or £5 a mini keg though. I'll have to have a look and let you know. I'll update you on it. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do a video on it, and we'll talk about mini kegs and mini keg supplies and mini keg prices. But the company we used originally was European Malt Company Limited. Oh, Henry doesn't like converting to degrees American. Fahrenheit. Well, I don't use Fahrenheit, mate. I don't think many other people do either. For me, the Celsius scale, I'm a metric man through and through. I do like metric. Just makes sense, doesn't it? Base 10 and all that. Got 10 fingers. If I had 12 fingers, maybe I'd think differently. But I still keep telling Gemma that that is 6 inches. And I won't let anyone tell her any different. Got to stay on the stream. What do you think then? Do we stay streaming on YouTube Live, or do we move over to Vaughan? What do you think for the next one? We'll see. Maybe I'll put a poll up. I suppose it'd be biased though, wouldn't it, if I put it on YouTube? I think we may stay on YouTube live. 2 hours went by pretty quickly, and we're about 13 minutes off ending the stream tonight, so it's not that long when you get a good convo going. Will the vacant lose its hop aroma? I'm going to brew up a batch this weekend. It's got a lot of hops in the recipe, and I've always heard that aromas leave over time. No, well, it depends. This is from Clint Martin. It depends completely on how you're going to package the beer. So once it's packaged and safely put away, you're going to have 3, 4, even up to 5 months if it's in keg, before you're going to notice the downward curve of the hop aroma on the vacant. The peak is generally around a month and a month and a half in, so it kind of, imagine a bell curve, which is how I always describe it. It's the easiest way. So you've brewed the beer, you've just put the dry hops in, that's kind of day one, and the hop profile starts to lift up, and then you're going to package pretty early on in that time, but the flavour profile isn't going to be very high because the beer hasn't matured yet. So you're going to be taking it off the hops, you'll be putting it off the yeast as well. Hopefully it'll be pretty clear. If you're going to do any finings, now's the time. Or if you're going to store it for more than 2 or 3 weeks, then I wouldn't put any finings in anyway. I'd just leave it for an extra week, cold crashed, for it to drop out, and then package. Then once it's in the packaging, be it bottles or keg, you're going to start to see this steep incline of that bell curve, and you're going to see a peak of the flavour profile kind of between 3 weeks and 12 weeks. But all of that, it's going to be like Table Mountain, you know, it's got a good solid flat top on this bell curve. It's by no means pointy, and then you're good, and then it'll start to come down the other side gradually, but it's not a very steep drop off depending on how you store the beer as well. So ideal storage temps below 4 degrees. Keep it out of sunlight. Obviously if it's in a Cornelius keg, that's perfect. If you've only got ambient storage available to you, you're going to see that bell curve start to drop off pretty quickly on the other side. If you can keep it cold, you're going to run into the 6 months bracket. So that's what I suggest. If you can package it and keep it like that, then you're on to a winner. Right, I'm going to go over to Beer Cam, and just because I want to show you it, I'm going to have a Scrumpy Wasp to mix it up. I'll have indigestion. I'm not going to put it in the same glass though, because this one's now had stout or porter and proof of concept in it. Instead, I'm going to put it in my gin and tonic glass, but this only holds half a pint, so I might have to come back. Oh, we've got 9 minutes of the stream, we should be alright. I might not have to come back. So what I'll have to do is just get rid of anything that's sat in the lines. Could be a fruit fly or anything there, but I'm not too worried about the rest of the lines because there's only a foot or so before it goes into the fridge or into the kegerator. And there we go. So this is Scrumpy Wasp cider, made by Tim Needham in East Markham. He's got a website if you want to go and have a look at it, scrumpywasp.co.uk I think it is. And this is about as local as your cider is going to get. Literally, I could cycle to his cider farm. It's not really a cider farm though, it's more like just a massive farm where he presses apples and then he's got a load of brewery tanks. But it's a bloody lovely cider, and it is definitely one of my favourites. Froggy will tell you that if I've been on the pop for too long, because he sometimes works on a Saturday at the brew shed, you see, when when generally I'll go for a drink, or maybe a Friday night. If I've drank too much ale, you can get a bit of a tired palate, is how I like to describe it. And a pint of Scrumpy Wasp or cider just brings it back to life. Oh, it's really fizzy. It's going to make me belch a little bit. So it's probably a good thing we've only got 8 minutes left of the cast, folks. And then we will be back again sometime in the future, I'm sure. So I've just pressed a button that I shouldn't have done. Let's get rid of that. Right then, not anything to do with this much hops stays in the keys that long. Well, this is true, Clint. Yeah, I would also be inclined to drink it if that's what you had on. My buddy up the road is filling growlers. New or yours, is that allowed? No, not really. So I don't know whether this changes. This is Henry, by the way. I don't know whether this has changed regionally under different district councils or not, but the email that we got back from Bassetlaw District Council said that we were able to open up under our off licence as long as we weren't serving from the pumps. So unless your man's taking pre-orders, or the bylaws are different there. I don't think this is a bylaw, though. It seems pretty much like a blanket kind of instruction from central government. I just think where the problem lies is in how local government or local councils are translating that advice, and there's a lot been lost in translation. They've not done a very good job so far, unfortunately. It's not been an easy one, though. Right, let's have a quick look before we bugger off. So Colin's off. Nice to see you, nice. Thanks for joining us, mate. Hopefully he'll join you again. Yeah, Chris is right. Vaughan for the tunage. Glenn wants YouTube. Put it in 1 litre soda bottles for the duration. Your customers aren't going to let it oxidise. This is true, you're right. Don't have any 1 litre soda bottles. Another thing we'd have to buy in, you see. Banjo Country Work Base 12. We live there, so I added another 20% of surnames when we moved in. Oh dear. Your wife is correct. Yes, she always is, yeah. I don't argue. No, I do. I do argue. Far too much. Vaughan would be nice with some tunes. Yeah, it is good, Rob. A bit of tunes breaks up the monotony of, me talking. We'll see. It's a shame that you can't play videos on a live stream on YouTube and allow any revenue or anything like that go to the artist whom you are streaming. All the credit go to them. I don't know. We live in a world of copyright craziness anyway, don't we? So it'd be probably far too difficult to police. Decided to get vacant on the go this weekend, says Homebrew Griffo, but we'll need to brew a supporting act in case the kicks too soon. Yeah, well, Cal, I reckon you're absolutely right on that, mate. Brew 2 vacants. You've got the ingredients in. You're not going to get bored of it, I guarantee you. I'm still not bored of it, and I've been drinking it for years now. Dominic says that's why women can't park cars, because men like Harry that's 6 inches. Yeah, you're nearly there, Doc. You've got 6 inches. Oh, very good. Let's have a look at this. Yes, you're right. It is the bathtub curve. So that's similar to how we describe electronic life cycles. Right, well, I've never heard that terminology before, but the bathtub curve is exactly how I'd represent it. It's an upturned bathtub, isn't it? Making 10 gallons definitely won't make it 6 months. Oh, well, you're all right then, Clint. Don't worry. Don't worry about the hops dropping off. Tom's not experienced any drop off of hop flavouring either. Fabricator. It's Alan. How you doing, mate? Long time no speak. It really has been a while, hasn't it? But I've been following you on Instagram, mate. Yeah. Looks like you're nearly as good as me at welding, eh? Alf made some cider about 18 months ago. Still sat in a corner and never tasted it. Oh, that might be really nice now. If not, you can always add some sugar to it in the glass or a sweetener if it's too sour. He pressed the apples himself. I reckon you should try it. That cider's probably pretty good. Wes, smashing your website, mate. We'll be ready for a sneak peek soon. There's the man. Thanks, buddy. Much, much, much appreciated. We can fill growlers with a seal on top. It's only 3 PM here. Now we'll have to go out and work in the yard. Well, cheers, Henry. I'll maybe see you on the next stream. And that's pretty much it, folks. We are just about to end the stream. No, Martin, I got a bloody hangover. In fact, I'm going to have another dozen of these before I go to bed, mate. I hope you keep him well, pal. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream. If you're bored and you've got nothing else to do, go and watch my back catalogue of videos. Everyone who's donated something on the super chat, thank you very much. You've no idea how much it's going to help. And if you don't want to watch my back catalogue of videos, did I say back chat or back catalogue? I might have said back chat. If you don't want to watch my back catalogue of videos, then nip over to that man. He's there in the chat, Martin Bailey. I'm really enjoying his vids at the moment. Go and check some of them out. I'm sure if you like this, you'll like that, if you know what I mean. So cheers, folks. I'll see you on the next one. I'll make sure I'll give you plenty of notice before we do it. And stay safe, stay at home, drink beer or cider. Beautiful beer or cider. Cheers.